webinar, you will be receiving a PDF that goes along with what I'm sharing. It's really important. So please make sure that you have whitelisted entrepreneur.com and make sure that you look for this. Everybody who registered for the webinar will get it. You'll either get it today or by Monday. So just make sure that giving you a heads up to look for that. One more minute and I will start right on top of the hour, right on time. Beatrice, hi, my lovely friend. Glad to have you. Awesome. Got lots of people in the house. All right. All right. So again, if anyone has just come on right now, I do recommend you have something to eat or drink or by your side. Accidentally raised hand. Okay, no worry, Connie. All good. That happens. This is a Zoom thing. No worries. And make sure that you have gone ahead and gotten something to eat, something to drink with you so you don't have to leave. I don't want you to miss a minute of this. I do recommend you have pen and paper ready to take some notes, and you will see two of my friends up here with me. You will see Ken and Eileen, who I actually will be working with, and you will see vicariously how you learn from me working with them. Sharon is here. Awesome. May is here. Michael is here. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Looks to me, double checking my time. We're right at the top of the hour, so I'm going to get started. Welcome. Welcome. Happy Friday. Glad to have you. This is going to be a very exciting opportunity. Normally, the only people who get to come to this mastermind are my client family members, some of which are here. And then I have opened this up and I've allowed all of you to be here and to be a part of it because I want to pass forward what we do, our knowledge and our information. I want to help you because if you set the right goals for the quarter, you will have massive success. And I'm going to show you today how everyday business owners, literally people just like you, are not only literally doubling and in some cases tripling their incomes and more, but truly they are able to cut their hours in half and run their businesses or their practices on autopilot, and to do that in about 6 months or less. So today, that is a goal for you. That is part of the quarterly goal I have for you and how you can start to do this too. This is a photo that I took, gosh, about 3 weeks ago. It's from my home in Mexico. And one of the things that I am all about is not just helping people create more money. Money is lovely, but it's not the only thing in the world. I am about creating a true lifestyle. I live in 3 different places. This is one of the places that I live. I spend about 3 months, maybe 4 months a year right here in Mexico working from the beach. My client family members were in webinars with me right from that location. And so I want you to have that kind of freedom to work the hours you want, travel the places you want. And I'm going to share today, just to give you an example and get you framed right as we go forward, real people, real results from what we're going to do today. We have someone who put an extra $400,000 in his pocket. He said, we followed your advice. We used an ad that you wrote. I simply wrote an ad for him. We ran it for 3 days. It made a huge difference. The results were out of this world. He got 90 calls the first day, and over 3 days, he got 320 calls. Okay, this just says I've been signed out. Am I still here? Ken, Eileen? Okay, it's really weird. I got a Zoom message. It goes, you're signed out. I'm like, looks like I'm right here. Lovely Zoom. So he got 320 calls in 3 days from one little ad. Okay. And he ended up, he's a bigger business with 179 clients. He made $53,000 just from that ad. And we ran that same ad because when it works, you keep doing it, right? We ran that ad for the year. And just from that ad, he made $400,000. So that is the kind of result that you can have. Let me and I'm just going to share, a little bit about who the people are. They were on the brink of bankruptcy. Okay. They went from almost wanting to shut their doors when we first met to 80 clients a day. They came to me and said, we're going to close. I mean, we're in debt, $90,000, and we already filed Chapter 11, and we just don't think that we can get it turned around. Well, we did. So it's a healthcare center. We added 70 to 80 patients a day. They not only satisfied all of their debt, they actually cut $30,000 from advertising. They're spending all this money advertising on Facebook with no results, and it was less than lackluster. And that's an exciting thing. I've had another client family member, just what we're going to do today, double their revenue in 1 month. We made a small tweak to their business. I want you to get in the right frame of mind, and you can be just like these people. I consider myself to be a very astute business person and marketers. What the client said, it's very difficult to take anyone's suggestions. I remember when we first talked, like, I'm not coachable. I know how to do this. And they were doing $30,000 a month in revenue, literally from their basement. All right. And I said, all right, well, Terri, we're going to try this promising profits out. And I remember the conversation. I don't think it will work for me. Love those kind of conversations. This client went from making $36,000 a month, which they thought was really good, to over $68,000 the next month with one little adjustment. So now think about what might happen for you if you're here to be open and curious. You can be like any of the people I'm sharing with you. So I want to ask you a question, and you have the hand raise feature there in Zoom that you can use. If you feel like you are a master of your craft, but you're not an expert at growing and automating your business, use the hand raise feature and raise your hands. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Oh, Radavi, good to see you. Let me see who else. Wow, we're getting lots of hand raises. Okay, so we're going to solve that problem. We're going to solve all kinds of problems. Dr. Polly, excellent. Good. Now see if this sounds familiar, and if it does, again, raise your hands. Being an entrepreneur is tough. I've invested all this time and all this money, but sometimes I feel overwhelmed. I'm treading water. If this is you, start raising your hand. Or if this is you. I have tried dozens of marketing coaches, consultants, courses. They've been a waste of money, or they confused me, or I did work. How many of you have had that happen? Raise your hand. Carl, good to have you. Good. Look, lots of people. And then how about people who are like, just, hi, Irene, it's there too. You're worn out every single day. You're like, I just don't know. I got to hold on to the clients that I have, because if they leave, I'm going to be in trouble. Anybody feel like that? Raise your hand if you really are worried about losing people. Thanks for being transparent and honest, everyone. I appreciate it. So let's even think about this. If you lose a client, it's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? How am I going to replace a client? Does anybody ever worry about that? A client, a patient, a customer, but I can't lose them. I can't lose them. And so you're hanging on to them. Have any of you hung on to the wrong people because you feel desperate? Hand raised, Deborah, Val, Dee, yep, Yulene. Okay, thanks for being participatory. So today we're going to talk about, David, we're going to talk about a better way. All right. So I'm sure that you every day look out and you see other people in your same industry, and it's like, they're crushing it. They've got thousands of people on their social media or in their Facebook group or LinkedIn or Pinterest or Twitter or Instagram. What am I doing wrong? And then you look at their stuff and you go, I'll just imitate them. I'll just model them because they must be doing the right thing. And it doesn't really get you results. Or you think, you know what, I have to be like a social media influencer, but you really don't even want to be that. Maybe some of you don't even want to be on social media. My clients have felt the exact same way. So if you're experiencing confusion and frustration, you're in the right place at the right time. And I'm going to tell you that most of the processes and systems that are being built and being shared around out there are very complicated. So today I'm going to help you. We're going to do the heavy lifting by creating things that do the work for you. So be ready. Here's what your goal should be, and that's where I want to shift you to right now. You want to be a sustainable cash machine. I use these words a lot. What is a sustainable cash machine? Well, to me, it is a business that runs and produces cash even if you step away. I'm going to say that again. If I repeat something, it's really important. I have created, those of you who don't know me, I've created 8 completely different multi-million-dollar businesses. This is my 8th. I've been a business consultant now for 27 years. I created this business 27 years ago, got 30 clients in 30 days, turned it into about a $500,000 business 27 years ago. The next year we hit $1 million, and we average between 3 and 4 million a year. We are a sustainable cash machine like my other businesses that I sold before this. What does that mean? It means it doesn't rely on Terri. I'm not trading time for money. It means I started with the end in mind, that it's not Terri Levine company, Terri Levine coach or consultant, or Dr. Terri, okay? It means that at some point, my business, and it does now, could run without me. I could step away. There are systems and processes. I could sell the business if I choose to. What is your end in mind? I want all of you to be writing this down. What is your end in mind? If you started your business because I have this huge passion and you have no idea what the end is, all you've done is created a job for yourself, a job. You think you own something and it owns you. So I can step away. I can go lay on the beach in Tahiti. I can work 20 hours a week if I choose, or 10 or 5. It doesn't really matter. The business can be passed on to my family as a legacy, or it could be sold because I've also created a dynasty. To me, that is a sustainable cash machine. If your business relies on you trading time for money or seeing patients, you have created a business and not a company. So if this sounds like a dream, I'm going to share a ground-shattering truth. I'm actually going to share a lot of them today. That's why I said get some note paper. Every one of your current, quote, problems, your frustrations, your worries comes from you not knowing how to create a business or a company that actually works for you. You are working for it. And that is not a sustainable model. It is not. It is possible to not only create a business that literally works for you. You don't have to go invest in a whole lot more courses. You don't have to go hire an ad agency. You don't have to push yourself on social media if you don't like it. And why burn yourself out? Life is too short. When I say a business that works for you, I mean you control the business. You call the shots. You're stable. You consistently have the revenue you want. If you want 20,000 a month, you know how to get that every single month. If you want to go from 20 to 50, you know how to turn the nozzle up. Most importantly for me is not only helping you make more money today, it's helping you create freedom. When you have financial wealth, you are able to create freedom over your schedule. And that is the biggest thing I see with entrepreneurs. They're working 80 hours a week. They're hiding behind computers. They're creating PowerPoints and banners and Facebook group and content. You don't need to be a content generator, and that's not growing your business. And if you're the type that's sitting around watching 4 hours of webinars a day, and then you've got mentors or coaches or consultants who work day and night and who haven't created a company, but they're like the single entity, that model is not a healthy model. So I'm going to tell you exactly what to do, how to do it, and I'm actually going to work with both Ken and Eileen and help them. So are you ready? Who's ready? If you're ready, I want to see hand raises. I want to make sure I got the right people here. Those hands will go up fast. Oh my gosh, yay, I got the right people. I see Robert is also here, Marina, excellent. Then the first thing you need to do is stop walking around going, I'm a business owner. And you need to just go, am I owning the business or does it own me? Be honest with yourself. Doesn't matter what you say to me. And then ask yourself, do I really know how to create a business that works for me? Or am I working for the business? Again, that's my definition of a job. So right now in this industry that I've been in for 27 years, there's a lot of lies. Today I'm going to tell you a lot of truth, but there are a lot of lies. You will see, and I won't mention names, you will see people who put up photos on the internet in front of expensive cars and houses, and they tell you they're living this laptop lifestyle. I know many of those people. I speak on large platforms normally all around the world. At some point, hopefully we'll do that live again. And I can tell you many of those people have taken photos while in California in front of other people's cars and other people's homes. I know someone who is absolutely homeless and broke, and on their social media, you would think they're making millions of dollars. The other lie that people tell is something like you can have a 4-hour work week. Okay. I'm not going to get into details. I'm just going to tell you that is not the truth. It is not the truth. You can ask anyone who runs a multi-million-dollar company if there is truth in that statement. And the answer is no, except it's a great title and makes for a great book. So I know. Right now you're like, oh, Terri, that's really harsh. You're very insensitive. You're not a entrepreneur. Well, I'm going to talk to you heart to heart, and yet I'm going to tell you the truth. I'll never lie to you. So I'm going to be loving. However, I'm going to have a steel-toed boot because you need to shift from where you are to make the serious money and have the time you want. I don't want you to blame yourself or beat yourself up. There are so many false experts out there. I've hired many of them myself. And you're probably repeating the same mistakes. You're following what everyone else is doing. I don't follow what anyone else is doing. In fact, I do it completely different. Most of us, if you're like me, didn't go to school to actually learn how to build a business. I started as a speech language pathologist. That's what my first master's degree was in. I came out of school and I started my own business. I didn't know anything about business. I didn't know what a P&L was. I didn't know what to do when people gave me checks. I had no idea how to do sales and marketing, how to go get patients. No one ever taught that. And no one teaches how to build a sustainable cash machine. So I don't expect you to know how to do it. The good news is you're in the right place. This is what I know, and that's what we're here for. Very quick, and then let's just get right into it. If you don't know me, if you've come on and you're like, somebody invited me, but I don't really know you, who is this woman? I'm Dr. Terri Levine, and I have helped over 6,000 client family members earn 6 figures, 7 figures, and 2 that earn 8 figures. I've grown my own businesses, as I've mentioned. One of them, and don't think you're going to imitate this because I could never do it again. I was in the right place at the right time in the right industry. I took that business from 0 to 88 million in under a year. I have taken another business from literally a hobby, an art business, to $1 million in a year. I took another business to 12 million in under 5 years. I've been named as the top female coach in the world, I think 11 times, and one of the top 10 coaches in the world 15 times. So it doesn't matter if you know me or not. I have a radio show, a TV show, a magazine. I've done a TEDx talk. I've written 47 books, just a little background. Okay, now I'm going to be very transparent. I have had great success in my life. So you might look at this and go, wow. And I'm going to be very transparent. I have made a lot of mistakes. I mean, a lot of mistakes. The biggest mistake that I made was stretching myself way too thin because I wanted to explore everything. Oh, this is fun. Here's another industry. This is great. So my systems would be working and working. And I found about 11 years ago, I wasn't as fulfilled. Like I was helping clients, but I just wasn't as fulfilled. A lot of my clients were bigger corporations, Ford, General Motors, Merck, large hospital chains. So I kind of went back to my senses about 11 years ago. And I said, I'm going to do one thing. I'm only going to work with entrepreneurs. That's all I really care about. I want to pass forward my knowledge, my lifetime of work to help them create money, impact, and time freedom. And I have personally invested over $1 million in mentors, coaches, consultants, and courses. I'm not talking about my PhD and college degrees. I'm talking about what I've learned. So instead of my client family members having to hire all these mentors, it's one-stop shop. So today I'm going to share everything with you. I mean, everything. And I'm going to tell you and kind of explain this to you. I took all my knowledge, all my experience, my work with thousands and thousands of clients, and there is simply a 4-step process. That's what I'm going to teach you today, and I'm going to help you today. This process, when you apply it, doubles your income, cuts your hours in half, and lets you do your business literally on autopilot. It takes about 6 months. So you're here with some kind of a quote unquote problem. Something's not quite right yet. And today we're going to help you create your solution. Now you might be scratching your head going, this is all great, but what the hell is the process, Terri? Let's get to the process. So it's pretty simple. Let me explain. Just like anything in life, the first thing that you have to do is build a solid foundation. People call this all kinds of things, blueprints and whatever. I call it a foundation. My husband and I have built, custom built 4 or 5 homes. We're in the process of building another home in Mexico now. And what we learned, we're not builders, so what we learned over time is that the most important thing for your house is that it has a solid foundation, especially in Mexico, Val, right? There's hurricanes. We've been there together during one. So we want to make sure that your business is solid. Did I know a pandemic was coming? No, I'm not psychic. However, my business had a solid foundation. That pandemic didn't affect us at all. In fact, we grew 600% because we have a solid foundation. We have been around through the dot-com crash. We have been around through the stock market crash, the recession. Doesn't make any difference. If you have a solid foundation, and if you don't, your business can be blown over. So in most clients, when they come to me, don't have a solid foundation. And what I can tell you is if you feel any of these things, it's not solid. If any of these words ever show up for you, please raise your hand. Overwhelm, stress, or frustration. Overwhelm, stress, or frustration. Got a pretty good amount of hand raises. Pretty typical for entrepreneurs. And that is because you are doing things the current way, or what I'm going to call the old way. Okay. And the old way is not going to get you the results you're looking for. So if you really want to double your income, cut your hours in half, get your business on autopilot, today we're going to start getting you in the right mind for the quarter and sharing how to do it the new way. So again, it's got to be a solid foundation. Please keep this image. Every once in a while when I show an image, I want to implant it in your brain. So you always remember, is what I'm doing today building a solid foundation for my business, or is it wasting time playing on Facebook or going into one of these Facebook groups where it's like, hey, everybody follow each other on Instagram. Who cares? I could care less how many followers I have or Facebook friends. Really? Are 5,000 of those people my friends? Think about where you're spending your time. All right, let's get into your quarterly goals. So here is the profit formula. These are my 5-question framework. Some of you who have heard me speak on other webinars or my client family members, you know that everything I do is grounded in these 5 questions. The first question is, I want you to take a moment and ask yourself, what is working in my business right now? What is working, even if it's something small? I have prospects, I have leads, I made $15,000 or $1,000 or $200, or I got my webinar done, or I got my website up. What is working? And I want you to think about this really important foundational question. Most people like to talk about what's broken. So if I say to you, tell me about your business, this is where most people start. I don't have enough clients. I don't have enough patients. I didn't make enough money. My expenses are too high. I'm wasting too much. No, come from the right place. Let's all get aligned right here, right now. What is working? Your brain, sorry, I'm going to get a little clinical psychologist on you. Your brain cannot go to possibility thinking when you are coming at it as I have a problem versus, hey, some things are working. Question number 2, I'm going to get a little quantum physics on you, just my only little woo-woo piece. What makes it work? So you say, you know what's working, Terri? I got my consumer awareness guide done. I have a core unique positioning statement. I have a really good landing page created. What makes that work? Oh, I'm getting the elements done that are really important to moving my business forward, to creating that foundation. Now, why do you want to go to what makes it work? So here's the quantum physics part. The law of energy shows us that 17 seconds, this is quantum physics, 17 seconds of a thought will bring in more like-minded thoughts. So I want to get you into possibility thinking. What is possible versus what's broken? So when you start telling me, well, what is working and then what makes it work, it keeps you there for 17 seconds, my little woo-woo. And therefore, your brain is in the right place to create possibilities. We're going to create your possibilities today. Now I want you to take a moment and I want you to think, what would be my ideal outcome in my business this quarter? Terri's invited me to free help, a couple of hours of free hands-on help. I gave up my time to come here and be with Terri. What is my ideal outcome that I want to achieve this quarter? And I want you to go deep. I don't want, I want 5 new patients or 10 new prospects, or I want to make $30,000 or $3,000. That's not it. So let me give you a for example. Coming into this quarter, my ideal outcome is that at Promising Profits, we help at least 25 more client family members. My current clients, as many of them as possible, double and triple their incomes. What else would be the ideal outcome for my business? That coming into the warmer months, which I really enjoy, I'm only going to work 2 days a week. Okay, now that doesn't mean I don't answer my clients because they know they have an app and I'm there for them, but the rest of the days I'm going to be off. What else would be an ideal outcome? An ideal outcome is that I'm having conversations with people I love and people I enjoy and people I resonate with and oscillate with. What else would be an ideal outcome? That this very large health and wellness summit that I'm putting together internationally serves hundreds of thousands of people worldwide. I want you to get specific. I want you to think about, what does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it sound like? What does it taste like? I'll go further. I work from my beach home in New Jersey when I am working. I'm sitting by the pool or sitting at the beach every day. I have time to enjoy time with my family, laughter with my friends. I can go on and on and on. I'm doing my workouts every day. I'm eating healthy. I'm taking walks. That's the kind of thing that you want to do. That's the outcome. Then, and this question is a writer downer. It is the only neurolinguistic programming that I will share, NLP. I am a master trainer in that. I recommend that you write down this question and make sure you use it in exactly this format. What is not quite right yet? I'll explain. Anytime I use NLP, by the way, I explain it. I don't like when people use it for manipulation. I use it for the greater good. What is not quite right yet is this. You're now telling your brain something is not quite right. Quite right yields possibility, like, oh, it could be more right. And then we add the word yet, which says to the brain, oh, there's greater potential. Why do we do that? Number one, it leads to possibility thinking, openness, and curiosity. Better be here open and curious, or I can't help you. And that's my goal, is to help you. The other thing that it does is the human brain, going to give you a little more psychology, the human brain cannot tell fantasy from reality. I shared this on a Facebook Live the other day. I love, love, love animals, love animals. And every time my husband and I watch a movie and an animal gets shot or hurt, I am hysterical crying. And every single time he goes, you know, this isn't real, right? I'm like, no. Why is that happening? Well, the human brain cannot tell the difference between fantasy and reality. I want you to use that to your advantage. When we say to the brain, what's not quite right yet, and the brain has just seen an ideal outcome, even while you're sleeping, the brain is working on you getting this outcome. The final question, question number 5, is what tools or resources do you need today to achieve your goals this quarter? What tools or resources do you need today to achieve your goals in this quarter? So I'm going to work with 2 client family members here. And I'm actually, let me pull this open over here. So I'm going to work with Ken first, and I want to pull Ken's sheet up. So before I unmute Ken, we get into this, I'm going to tell you what Ken told me his highlights were for last quarter. He set up a webinar masterclass. He got that up and running in December 2020, by the way. I'll let Ken give you the link to that. I recommend that you look at it. He's really done a good job of this. Secondly, reaching out to other people's audiences. He's been on several podcasts right in front of his ideal audience. He's been on TV interviews, even though it's not the exact audience, for more credibility. He has a database drip campaign and has been really consistent with that. And he has a very high open rate, gang. Listen to this. His average open rate has been 25 to 30%, with the highest being 60. So this is what's working in his business. His LinkedIn profile is updated. He's making new connections every month. He's written some articles on LinkedIn. Wow. Let's just take a minute. And you got a little applause feature in there too. I would definitely give Ken lots of applause. Thank you guys, lots of applause. And he also has had great conversation with connection, and he's building rapport for long-term connection. All right, so Ken, let me see, my mouse doesn't want to cooperate. You can unmute, just Ken. There you go.
Hey, can you hear me? Good.
We can see you. So first of all, I want to take a moment and celebrate you, because we really got you to dive into what is working. And you have always, as one of my client family members, you always come with a very, hey, this is good, this is working. You always have that, which is great. And I love that. So I just want to say phenomenal, well done, amazing, good job. All right. So we're going to start there. let me ask you, what makes all of these things work? What makes you feel like, hey, these things are really working?
What makes me feel that they're really working is that I know there are several pieces of the puzzle that have to come together. And I know that a lot of these things that you've mentioned are the very foundation for me to get started and to get going. And I'm really focusing on having these solid. So this is what I think is what makes them work. I mean, at this point in time as well, it's a lot of it is myself.
Yes.
That's making it work. So I am actually at this point in time writing the drip campaigns. I do have someone that helps me to send out the mail, the email, but
keep focusing on what makes it work. By the way, again,
okay.
what I'm doing, well, I'm going to take a pause and sidebar because I'm going to let them know what I'm doing. So I have a whole list from Ken of what the highlights were, right? So what is working? Now I'm keeping him in 17 seconds of energy. So if any of you start doing what Ken is doing, where you're like, well, I have somebody help it. Okay, stay really focused. And this is the 17 seconds. Okay, anything else that makes it work? Good job, Ken.
And what's really cool is seeing the open rates, for instance, because I know that people are paying attention. So that's is very encouraging. What else could I say that is really cool? And I'm enjoying the fact that I'm having some really great conversations. And what I've noticed with the conversations, which is really cool as well, and it's different now because it's actually opened up to a global market. So I'm talking to people from the States. I'm talking to people from all around the world. And what's really interesting is that they are actually very keen to hear what I have to say.
Beautiful.
So even with podcasters, you know, so I think that is really encouraging to say, and it's helping me to realize, okay, I have something very valuable to offer.
Good. So as I'm working with Ken, this is for everyone, vicariously, I want you to really think what's working in my business, what makes it work in my business. I want you to follow along because this process is really, really important. So I want you to follow along vicariously. Before I get back to teaching, I'm going to actually demonstrate how this works. So vicariously, you can pay attention. So what would be the ideal outcome for your business this quarter? What, if you could just give me the one thing, like, Terri, this would be ideal. What would you like to have happen this quarter? And I want all of you to be answering that for yourself.
This quarter, what ideally I would love to see happen is that I increase my reach in my database and add a high number of people to the database, because I know that once those numbers are up there, there's going to be more and more conversations. And I'd like 10 people to come into my program this next quarter. And that would be absolutely phenomenal for me, because I know that I can help these people to really be successful in what they're doing, and at the same time have the time freedom that they want as well as entrepreneurs.
So Ken gave me specifics. I want you to be doing this, following along, playing the game at home, okay? Because this is how I'm helping you vicariously. He wants to increase his reach. I want to speak to that for all of you. And Ken is doing something really right, so I'm going to use it as a point. Many people don't build relationships. They go right for and I got one of these on my Facebook Messenger today. Person doesn't know me at all, sends me a message and said, hey, Terri, would you like some help building your coaching business? First of all, I'm a business consultant. I'm not a coach. Second of all, no, I don't need or want any help. Third of all, I went to their profile and they're a brand new coach, okay? Brand new. I mean, they've been in it 6 months. They had like 25 followers or something. And I went to their website. It's all brand new. What Ken is doing, and all of you want to stop and pause and look at your own businesses honestly, is, are you building heart-to-heart relationship? Heartrepreneur stands for transparency, authenticity, and integrity. I don't just try and go, hey, join me, get in the program, buy from me, widget, don't you want it? What we do, and what Ken is doing, is building heart-to-heart relationships. When you build those kind of relationships, I'm going to go back to the image I implanted in your brain earlier, you build a foundation, right? Saw the bridge with the foundation. You build a foundation. So I think of this as if you were dating. I wouldn't just go, hey, Ken, I saw your profile picture. You're really attractive. Do you want to come over this evening and we could, have sex? Okay, that to me is like, what? And maybe it works for some of you. It's not where I'm from. Okay, it's not how I think. Instead, I'd say, hey, Ken, I went and I checked out your profile and I see that you do all this amazing mindset work. Looks really interesting. I'd love to get to know you. And I'd like to invite you maybe if you want to come join me on my personal page on Facebook, or even come into my group, or is there anything I could do to help or support you? I'm not selling. Okay, so I want you all to come from where Ken is coming, which is building relationships. The other thing Ken said, and I'm going to make a little course correct here for all of you, is he said, I would like 10 people in my program. So let me kind of teach you what I learned about this universe. When we say to the universe, I want 10, the universe delivers just what you ask for. You get 10. What if I say to the universe, I want 10 or more? In my experience, that opens up greater possibility and for the universe to say, oh, I'll deliver more. I remember going back years ago, I said, I really want to, the business was at 500,000 in year one as a coach. Year two, I switched to a consultant. And I said, I really want to do $1 million this year. What did I do in year two? Literally about 50 cents short of 1 million. The next year I said, I'd like to do $1 million or more. And guess what? That year we hit 3.2 million. So just a reminder for you, Ken, and for everyone who is sitting here, or more. Okay, let's have the word or more. Great. So now we're going to get into rolling up our sleeves and diving in here. So Ken, what's not quite right yet? And I want all of you playing along at home and answering this for yourself.
So what's not quite right yet? I would say, like I said, I would have thought right now that the numbers would have been a little higher when it comes to the amount of people who have actually gone to the webinar. So that in my mind is something that I need to adjust. Now, again, I'm not sure of the benchmark, so I could be sort of like percentage-wise, I'm not sure, where I'm at in that sense.
Let me ask you this question. What is not quite right in terms of the result you're getting from the webinar? For you, forget what the benchmark is. What would make that more right?
What would make it more right is that I would have a few more people who are actually signing up to have their consult call.
Great. So a result, and this is what Ken will write down, and all of you will write down yours. A result that he wants is having more of the right people go to the webinar, and then having more of those people have a consult. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is that good? Let me ask you this question, let me rephrase it. Can we focus on that for the quarter? And I'm asking this for all of you without focusing on a lot of other moving parts, so we have one solid thing to work on for the quarter.
Absolutely. I think it would be key, actually.
Great. So let me speak to the group for a moment. If you are saying something's not quite right and you're trying to fix 10 things, you're not getting ahead. So I'll give you an example. I showed you that client who came to me with a Facebook ad that was clearly broken, was wasting a ton of money. And I said, we're going to do the same ad, but we're going to put it for free in a local paper that puts in free ads. And I rewrote this ad and they got all their business. So when they came to me and we got to what's not quite right yet, they had a list of things. And I said, okay, what's the one outcome that you want for this quarter? One outcome. Literally, they still had a list of 5 things. And I said, we're going to do one thing and one thing only. You have to pick one. And they said, well, somehow we want to drive tons and tons of the right prospects. I said, if you had an ad that was working and you didn't have to do 50 things, you just had one ad, and we just kept replacing that ad over and over and over again, and it was driving in business, would you need to focus on anything else? Probably. Great. I only have one focus. One, and some of you heard me say this for 27 years, one focus, one goal, one focus, one goal. Entrepreneurs very often have a shiny object or squirrel syndrome. Brandon, he said that I should set up group funnels. He wants me to be an affiliate for them. He wants me to fill their life. Let me, and they totally lose their focus. I have people come to me every day and they want to do joint ventures and all these different things. I'm like, I am working on one thing. I am right here. I am right here. Blinders on a horse, right? Doesn't mean I'm closing off opportunity. It means that I'm building a company and I am driving that company as the strategist and the visionary, not as an entrepreneur who's scattered. So that's what we're going to work on. So what's not quite right yet, from what I'm hearing, is that could be two things. One, you're not getting enough people to the webinar. Two, you're not getting enough of the right people to the webinar. How do you feel about that?
I think the right people are going to the webinar from what I've seen. So I think it's more of the numbers going to the webinar at this point in time.
Right. So we have to get more people to the webinar. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's drill it down. What is the tool or a resource that you need today? And I'm asking all of you this today to achieve that goal of having more of the right people go to the webinar.
I would say it would be more leads, basically, that are warm leads that are potential clients that would go to the webinar.
Okay, so let me just check with the audience. How many of you need more qualified leads? Hand raises, more qualified leads. Stu, David, Carl, Robert, Natalie. Okay, they're still coming. Dr. Sami. Okay, so, oh, well, more are coming. Patty, Irene. So let me explain a little bit about this to everyone, and more are coming and more are coming, Marina. The number one reason, David, Denise, the number one reason that entrepreneurs fail, John, Sharon. Okay, here's the number one reason. They don't have enough qualified prospects. They might have the greatest product or service in the world. I know someone who is probably the highest level coach, and I've trained over 6,000 of them when I owned a coach training school. She is probably the most talented coach I know, bar none. And she's never made it in the industry because she never followed lead generation that works. She's tried a million different things instead of one thing. So I'm going to talk to you about this, and so vicariously, I want everyone to pay attention. Number one is you pick one channel that's going to be your primary channel. My clients know I'm teaching this, but right now I want all of you to think about, where is my audience currently hanging out? If they're not on Pinterest, you're not going to be on Pinterest. If they're not on Twitter, forget Twitter. If they're not on LinkedIn, forget LinkedIn. I'm not going to tell you much about all these social media platforms because there's a ton of them. And every day there's going to be somebody else starting one. I'm just going to make a blanket statement. You may like it, you may not like it. I'm not here to have you like me or like what I say. I'm here to help you. Facebook is where it's at, no matter how much you do not like Facebook, no matter what you think about Facebook's policies, politics, iOS 14. They have more visitors and they are the big social media platform. And my friends, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. I am a stockholder in Facebook, and tons of people were dumping it twice. They dumped it when politics got involved, and then they dumped it when iOS 14 happened. And I stuck with it. And I must say, I'm glad that I did, because I'm making tons of money as a Facebook shareholder. Do I like Facebook? No. However, I also love Facebook. So pay attention. I make $1 million of my income approximately every single year from 11 years from Facebook organically. Organically, that means no Facebook ads, by having conversations and adding value, having conversations. So some of you might go, I don't like Facebook, or my audience is on Instagram or Pinterest or Twitter or LinkedIn. Great. Be on just one platform and focus there. I remember when Clubhouse first started, I appreciate it. One of my client family members sent me an invite, and I'm thinking, I have no more time to look at any other platforms. And I did. I looked at it for about 2 seconds and I said, oh, maybe somebody else wants this. And I sent out a bunch of invites, and I've never been there again. And I have no intention of going. I don't need to be scattered. I don't need to do squirrel. Clubhouse will be built. There'll be tons more built. Every day someone's going to build a platform. Facebook owns the space. Whether we like it or not, Facebook owns the space. I am not a fan of Microsoft. I never have been. I don't like anything about Microsoft programs or products, and I refuse to use them. I'm an Apple gal. Is Microsoft going anywhere? No, it's not going anywhere. So what I'm saying to Ken, and I want all of you to really pay attention, is find the one place your audience is. If your audience watches podcasts or listens to podcasts, that's where you go. If your audience reads blogs, that's where you go. If your audience communicates in Facebook groups and on Facebook Lives, that's where you go. Now, you probably said, well, Terri, you showed us the slide about yourself and you write books and you have blogs and you have magazines and a radio show and a TV show. I optimize and leverage every single thing. My books, content come from my blogs. So it's really one item and I can't stop writing. I've written 47 books. I've been writing since I'm 7 years old. I'm a writer. That's my hobby. It's not my lead generation tactic. So blogging is how I get people to my website and then they turn into books. Facebook, I already told you, is where I get about $1 million worth of business every single year. I love Facebook. I get to meet new people. I get to communicate. I get to do Facebook Lives and Entrepreneurs with Terri Levine every Tuesday at 2 Eastern, share value, and just give away my knowledge, my documents. So for me, that's where it's at. That's my relationship building, and I enjoy it. 20 minutes a day, approximately, and I just enjoy the engagement there. The reason that I have a podcast and a radio show is to expose my brand. Now, some of you may know that right now I have an amazing guest host on Entrepreneur Radio and TV, which is Velma, who is here with us today. And she does an amazing job. So she is out there getting her name known and promoting the Entrepreneur brand. It's not me. We have an amazing editor-in-chief of Entrepreneur Magazine, which is Dee Hample, who's with us today. Dee handles the magazine. So I want you to look at, this is a company. I talked about this earlier. It's not Terri doing all these moving pieces. No, I don't create my own PowerPoints or banners or any of that stuff. I focus on my area of brilliance. My area of brilliance is helping my client family members create multi-million-dollar businesses, period. That's what I do. The reason that entrepreneurs go out of business, and that really like hurts my heart seriously, is because they never generate enough leads, or they generate leads that aren't qualified prospects and can't afford their products, programs, or services. And after a period of not having leads, you're not going to have a business. So Ken, and all of you who raised your hand, you only need to focus on one thing for the quarter. And I'm going to help you do that. I'm actually teach you how to do that, which is how am I going to get these leads? How am I going to do this? Where am I going to get them from? And how am I going to do this? So Ken, I'm going to give you help. So now I'm putting my consulting hat on. This basic framework has been coaching. Terri is a consultant. So all of you get to learn vicariously through the advice I give Ken. By the way, I'm just curious, is that going to help anybody? Do you think if I help Ken, you might hear something that will help you? Hand raises, hand raises. Awesome. Okay. And by the way, gang, oh, good, go. Oh, wow, they're all coming in. Let me explain one thing to you. I started out, I think this is relevant. I started out as a coach, right? I have 9, quote, coaching certifications. Thank you, Sue. 9 coaching certifications. I owned a coach training school until I sold it. And I shifted to business consulting because I looked at it this way. Coaching is a skill right here. It's a great skill. It's a really important skill. Consulting is a much larger skill. If you've read the book, The Ultimate Game Plan, that I wrote with my very good friend and former business partner, Pete Winarski, it teaches you consulting. David, thank you. Huge, massive. Consulting is huge, of which we have a chapter on coaching. A consultant comes at solutions. A coach would say to Ken, so Ken, what do you think you need to do to generate leads? Well, if Ken knew what to do to generate leads, don't you think he'd be doing it? If you did know, what would the answer be? No. That's why he's hiring someone to help him with the answers. I hope that resonates and makes sense. All of you who might be on here and call yourself anything like coach, I'm recommending that you change that to consultant, to strategist, not to mentor. If you look up the definition of mentor, a mentor gives free advice and helps someone. strategist or consultant. And by the way, as strategists or consultants, you get paid a lot more money because you're actually giving solutions and you can still use some coaching. Okay. I'm a clinical psychologist. I studied positive psychology as well. So honestly, I pay attention to my clients and I'm listening to mind and thoughts and thinking, and I'm bringing in some coaching. The bigger skill set is being a problem solver, and that's where you'll get paid more money. I hope that helps some of you. So the tool or resource that Ken needs is where I'm going to now dig in, put my consulting hat on. So here's what we need. In order to get to our results faster, we need to have the right amount of leads coming to, in your case, your webinar faster. By the way, tell the group where they can find your webinar afterwards so they can get to know you.
Okay, they can get it at adaptandpivotnow.com. So it's adapt and the word and pivotnow.com.
Adaptandpivotnow.com. Everyone make a note of that to check it out later. That will give you a sample of how we actually do webinars. And so we have this method that creates like an atomic webinar, and it's different. So if we get enough people there, we're going to have a lot more success. So here's a couple of ideas that I would put into place this quarter. First, I would go find at least 3 joint venture partners who you can do something for so they drive the right audience to you. So let me give you an example. Would someone in the area of personal development or self-help potentially have your audience?
Yes.
Joe Vitale have your audience? Potentially?
Yeah. Yeah.
Jack Canfield, potentially?
Yeah.
Self-help companies, David Ricklin.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So you might be thinking, Ken and anybody else, well, those are big names, Terri. So this is how Terri does it. I don't go for little people and little audiences. When I started in this industry 27 years ago, no one heard of me. I came from being president of a national healthcare company. Nobody knew me. The way that I got started is I had 4 people on an e-zine. 4. They were my friends that I'm sending you an e-zine. I wanted to grow my audience, just what Ken was talking about. I said, if I could get qualified prospects, they're going to want to work with me. And I told you I got 30 clients in 30 days. So what did I do? At the time, I was doing personal coaching. I went to every big name in personal coaching. At the time, we didn't have a robust internet like we do today, but I did look up books that they'd written. There weren't podcasts back then. I looked up teleseminars they were doing. I looked at websites. Your audio cut out. Oh, thank you for letting us know. It's adaptandpivotnow.com. Thanks for asking. Adaptandpivotnow.com. Appreciate you asking that. The link does not work. When I fill out, sign up, and push get it now, nothing happens. Kathy Dart Wagner is saying that. We'll deal with that later, Kathy. Thanks for letting us know. And we don't want you going there right now, right? So it's adaptandpivotnow.com. And it does work because I was just over there. So we'll figure it out. And I'll have Ken drop that in the chat at some point in a little bit later. Okay, so here's what I did. I started calling these people. I picked up my telephone. This may sound like old fashioned to many of you who are used to hiding behind your computers, but their phone numbers are pretty easily found. And I called Joe Vitale because he had a self-help audience. And I called, and Joe actually called me back. By the way, he wasn't quite as famous as he is now. And I said, Joe, I have something that I think your audience would really like that I would love to share. And don't forget, I have no one. I have no audience. I have 4 people. Thank you for posting that, Noreen. And Joe and I talked, and he said, well, write an article for my website. So I wrote an article for his website, and he called me. He said, I put it up. You want to look at it? And I looked at it, and he said, you know what? Add an email to my list, and I'll just tell them about the article. Okay. Joe sent out that email. The next day, I had 55,000 subscribers to my e-zine. 55,000, okay? From that, I built my business. I then went to Mark Victor Hansen and Jack Canfield. Don't forget, I'm not known. Nobody knows me. And I said, I would love to interview you. Back in the day, it was a teleconference. Your audience, nobody. They both agreed. I interviewed them and I started, there wasn't the internet to share the interviews. So now I'm sending the interviews to these 55,000 people. Here's a link to listen to these interviews. Then, as I became a business consultant and I read the book, The E-Myth by Michael Gerber, if you haven't read it, I recommend you all read it. I live and breathe by that book. I tried to call Michael Gerber's office, oh my God, probably 30 times. And I couldn't get Michael on the phone. And finally, one day, his assistant went, oh, he said, if you call again, he's going to talk to you. Hold on. And he got on and he's like, what is it that you want? And I said, I want to give your books to all of my clients and I want to get in front of your audience and I want you to get in front of mine. And we did a joint venture and I got literally in my coach training school overnight, 200 students. So Ken, the fastest way to grow your business for everyone is to go talk to a few people about getting in front of their audience and doing a joint venture. You can sell your products and services to my audience as long as I can promote, in this case, my webinar to your audience. Now think about this for a minute. If you get your webinar in front of one person who has the right audience, and let's just say 50 of them watch your webinar, how many of them potentially might hire you?
10.
Could be 10.
Minimum.
There you go. Could be 10 or more. So for all of you who are trying to build an email list and you're trying to do all this work, go find the right people. So let me tell you, again, teaching by example, what I did. I always share what happens in my business. We're doing this very large health and wellness international resilience summit that we are in the background planning, and I'm doing it with some of the world's biggest names in this. How did I get them to say yes to the summit? And some of them are sponsoring it. They don't know me. How did I do that? I'm going to tell you transparently what I did. The first thing I did is I went to Amazon and I found all the best-selling books in my niche. That's a hint, Ken. That's an action plan. Then you know. The second thing I did is I went to podcasts and I found all the top podcasts in my niche. That's another hint. The third thing I did is I went and found all the top bloggers in my niche. I started a Google Sheet. Somebody did type in Lewis, his web address, Noreen typed it in there. And Ken will do it when he's not speaking with me. He'll type it in there for everyone. So what I actually did is I started a Google Sheet. I have the podcast, I have the books, I have the blogs. What did I do? I use a service called Dub. And when I went to Dub, I very simply, and those of you who want to know more about it, you can ask, I'm happy to tell you. What I simply did is I created videos for all these people, private personal videos. So it would go, hey, Ken, your best-selling book on Doppity is so cool. I just love it. I'm glad it's an international bestseller. We're doing this big health and resilience summit. I'd be honored for you to be a speaker. So here's what happens. Most of you, I'm going to guess, don't think these people will pay attention to you. Well, I can't call Jack Canfield. I can't call Joe Vitale. I know people that are afraid to call Terri Levine. I can't call Terri Levine. Yeah, you can. And we are just as interested in joint ventures as you are, believe it or not. Thank you, Dr. Polly, for dropping the link in there. 100% you will get people that say yes. I'm going to give you one more example, Ken, just opening your mind and helping everyone vicariously. At the time when I was coaching, I was, boy, this is really dated. I was getting cassette tapes from Abraham Hicks. I was in their cassette tapes. I think I got them every week, and I just loved Abraham Hicks. So I found out how to make a phone call over to their office, and I got Jerry on the phone. And Jerry said, what can I do for you? And I said, I want to give all of my clients one of your cassettes. And the only thing I ask in exchange is you allow me to share something with your audience. He didn't even wait a nanosecond. He said, give me your shipping address. I'm going to ship you 200. I was going to ask for 50. I'm shipping you 200 cassettes. And at the time they had an email newsletter, send me a little paragraph that will drop in about you. I dropped in, we didn't have webinars back then. I dropped in a teleconference that I did. And guess what? I added 8,000 more people to my newsletter list. Ken, do you have an action plan, and what is it?
I have an action plan. I do now more than ever. I have one, but I have an even better one now. So yeah, I'll be looking at these, the top selling books, the podcasts, and the blogs as well. And any other major audiences, big audiences. I think that was really key for me, hearing that about, really just getting in touch with these big names as well, because I think that could make a huge difference without a doubt.
Beautiful. Awesome. Let me ask for hand raises. Did that help anyone else? Yeah, that's what we're looking for. So this is how I work, gang. And those of you, anybody who's asking me, well, I don't see the chat feature. Chat is always turned off on my webinars. Let me tell you why. I want you here and focused, not chit-chatting. I respond to everything in the question and answer. So it is adapt and pivotnow.com. It does work. ADAPT and A&D pivot, PIVOT now.com. Brilliant name, by the way. Let me explain just a couple of quick things that we did here, and we're going to go further and go deeper, and I'm going to teach you some things at the same time. No, good question. Cara says, did you pay for the 200 cassettes? No. And Michael Gerber, by the way, sent me, I don't know, a couple of hundred E-Myth books. People will give you their materials because they're so thrilled you're going to get it out in the world and share who they are with more people. So no, they don't even ask for that. You're welcome, Sue. So let me just talk about a couple of quick things that we did here with Ken. I don't work individually with client family members. Some of you may, and let me tell you why. See if you really paid attention. Are you building a business or building a company? You're trading time for money? You never can retire, which is the biggest problem people have. You never have time freedom, and everything depends on you. By the way, Tony Robbins has found this out. He's tried to exit his business for years. He cannot. He built a business around his name. He can't go. It's not going to happen. He's trying again. He's trying again right now. You don't want to build a business around you and you being the one to trade time for money. So I build a company. I work with all of my clients just the way I'm working with Ken. Vicariously, I saw so many of you raise your hands. As I'm working with Ken, you're going, oh, and you're getting the information. Ken, thank you for playing and being a participant. I'm going to go back to some training and then I'm going to come to Eileen.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. I adore you. All right. So as you see, I'm going to work with several people. I'm going to work with Eileen in just a few minutes. Real consulting in real time. First, I want to give you, before I go with Eileen, what else you need to succeed. So I want you to take a moment. We're going to do some mindset stuff for just a minute. Every quarter, oh my gosh, it's so exciting. You get new possibilities, new choices, new hopes. You get to really think about your future. And this is the time that I got Ken and hopefully many of you to start thinking, what actually do I need to change? Because if you know this, if you keep doing the same stuff, you're going to get the same result. So we're going to keep working today to help you get the outcomes you want from the goals. You know, the word impossible has that word possible right in it. So it's possibility thinking. So let me go through the kind of framework here that you want to use every quarter. What I'm teaching you today, by the way, you want to take notes on because you want to use this each quarter, every quarter. It's going to make it very, very simple. Can you please repeat what the trade was when you asked Jerry for the tapes? Oh, thank you, Sharon. All I said to Jerry is, can you get me in front of your audience? Jerry came back with, yes, we send out a weekly newsletter. Send me a paragraph about your services. That was it. Thanks. All right. First one is my favorite. Keep it simple, sweetie. The KISS method, right? Don't set a goal that you have no hope of fulfilling. One of my folks who's on my team, my chief advisor, some of you may have met Ken, who was the chief advisor on my team. He chatted with someone the other day who is at 100,000 and in this quarter, they wanted to go to 1 million. Now I told you I took a company from 0 to 88 million and I said that probably will never happen again. It's the right place at the right time in the right industry. No, we're not going to talk about goals that are just really out there. I see people post in like law of attraction groups all the time. Repeat this with me. $1 million is coming to me. Really? Not. I don't need to be rude. I just need to be honest. That's great. It's lovely thinking. It's not going to change anything. So you want a goal that you can absolutely achieve, a simple goal. Ken has the goal. It's going to drive more of the right people to his webinar that's going to result in 10 or more qualified prospects in his program. Very simple. Keep it simple, sweetie. Number 2 is be choosy. Please don't set up a quarterly goal because you think you should. You know, those of you in this profession have heard don't should on yourselves, right? That's just setting you up for failure. Don't do something because you feel you should. Everybody says I should. Choose something that you really desire. Then you wake up in the morning motivated to do it. It's like, you know what? I really want to change this in my business. I'm so excited about this health and resiliency summit that literally I've been waking up at like 4 in the morning. It's like the 4th day that I've been up at that hour because I'm so excited about this quarter. Broadcast your plans. Tell people what the goals are. And let me tell you why. I have a friend who wanted to lose, I think it was like 35 pounds a few months ago. And she just kept it to herself. She told no one. She had no support. She was literally by herself. So share your goals with people who are supportive. I have my client family members share their quarterly goals, people who are on the same journey, and my client family members hold each other accountable. They set their goals every Monday on an app that we use on our phones. Each of them goes on and says, "It's my goals for the week." And on Friday, they tell us how they're doing. Broadcast your plans. You see a heart. Everything I do is about hearts. You're going to see a heart with a crowd of people. Broadcast your plans. What was 2 and 3? So let me just back up so everyone gets this. So we're going to back up. Keep it simple, sweetie. Be choosy. Set up goals that resonate with you. Oh, I might have missed 3. Sorry. Thanks for asking, Connie. Be realistic. Be realistic. Now, I want Ken to have 10 or more. If I didn't think Ken could get 10 or more, my job as a business consultant and say, Ken, it's a quarter. Can you accomplish that? And if 10 is easy in a quarter or more. But when we have people come to us and they're at, you know, I made 3,000 last month. I want to make 50,000 next month. Let's do it slow. Okay. Slow and steady wins the race. And then broadcast your plans and then broadcast it to a group of like-minded heart-to-heart people. Number 5, educate yourself. Listen, if you're hanging around with a group of unsuccessful people who've never made the kind of change you want to make, you're not going to get there. So I'm going to share a couple things there. I was going to ask the same question. Thanks, Carl. So educate yourself. And let me explain this. I'm asked all the time, will you be my accountability partner? Will you be in this mastermind group with me? And the answer is always no. Respectfully, no. Why? I don't even want to run with people at my same level. I want to run with people who are running way ahead of me. So I pay $100,000 every single year to be in a mastermind that goes by revenue. You have to apply, you have to share 10 years of P&Ls. There's a whole lot of things. And it cost me $100,000 for 1 day of a mastermind. And many people, including my husband, originally said, what are you, out of your mind? Are you nuts? Well, the first time I spent $100,000, I got an idea from this mastermind because while I'm doing about 3 to 4 million a year in there are people doing 40 million, 80 million, 300 million, and yes, even a billion. I am running with people who I am the slow one in the race and I got to run faster. I'm learning from them. They've already been where I am. They've already made changes that I want to make. So one of these masterminds, first one I went to, paid 100, and I felt like I paid it. Didn't invest in it. I feel like I actually paid it. I got an idea at that mastermind. I'm an implementer. I went home and I implemented it. Within about, it was a little less than 90 days, we added $1 million to our bottom line. Now, let me ask you a question. Would you give somebody $100,000 if you could get back $1 million? How many of you say yes to that? I'm in. Yes, I would. Raise your hands. With a big hell yeah for me, right? So guess what I've done every single year for 17 years, $100,000 every single year, because now I realize that is an investment. Educate yourself and make sure you are learning from real people who are really successful and have been there and done that. Number 6, avoid the same old goals. So let's say that you said, I'm going to make 300,000. You said it last year, you said it the year before, you haven't achieved it, you haven't achieved it, you haven't achieved it. Work on something a little bit smaller. Make it a smaller time frame. So instead of going, oh, I'm going to get 300,000 this quarter. Okay, I'm going to get 300,000 over the course of the year. What do I need to do this quarter to get the momentum? It's probably not 100,000. Maybe it's 50,000. Maybe it's 40,000. So look at your goal. And if you've been doing the same old goal over and over again, and you haven't hit it, that's not the goal. So I'll give you an example there. I wanted to get back to strength training. I used to be in the gym every day with a personal trainer, and I had just stopped over the last few years. And during the pandemic, I have a beautiful home gym with every piece of equipment that you'd have in a professional gym. I'm like, I'm going to go do this thing. So I didn't set a goal of lifting the kind of weight I used to lift. I hadn't lifted any weight in 2 years. I set a goal over 3 months of lifting a very small amount of weight. At the end of 2 months, I had crushed that goal. And now it's actually month 4, and I'm lifting more weight now than I lifted when I was 25. In fact, my husband was with me the other day, and he said, you are bench pressing more than your body weight. I'm like, yes, I'm getting strong. I didn't set crazy goals, and I didn't set the same old goal, because for years I'm like, I may get back to strength training. I may get back to strength. I made a smaller goal. I hit it. And by the way, then I beat it, and you may too. Number 7, please really hear me on this one. Break your goals down into small, achievable tasks. This isn't sitting around using the law of attraction and mantras and affirmations. The word attraction has the word action built into it. My client family members are implementers. That's why they succeed. Break your goals into something achievable. I recommend that they are physical actions that you can take. A physical action, you go, yeah, high five, I got her done. A small, manageable change is much easier. When I went into the gym the first day to lift weights after 2 years, I didn't go, let me see if I could pick up 100 pounds. No, in fact, it was really kind of funny. I picked up 5 pounds of dumbbells, and I'm like, wonder if I could do 5 pounds. Small, manageable change. And then I tracked them. Number 8, you need a plan of action. So that's why I want you to have action steps. Please put them in order. What am I going to do first? So what's Ken going to do first? Well, I gave him some actions. Set up a Google sheet. Go research the best-selling authors in your niche. Then go research the bloggers and then the podcasters. Then create dub videos and reach out to them. A very simple plan of action, and know what that action is. And by the way, that helps you stop doing squirrel, another program, another course, another consultant, another event to go to, another mastermind group, whatever it might be. I do want to say number 9, we have to plant things so they grow. Please don't expect overnight results. While you heard that I built this one business from 0 to 88 million, it was me and 2 other business partners. All we did for 8 months, 6 months, all we did, and I mean all we did, we ate, slept, and breathed building the business. We did not have lives. I'm being very honest. We gave up our family time. I gave up my health, and we worked on this business, 3 of us, day and night, night and day, to the point, literally, I made myself sick. I don't build businesses that way anymore. I build your company by saying it's not overnight. We've got to develop your inner game, the inner habits, the inner thinking. When I talked about a foundation, here's what happens with many things and why it goes wrong. A coach, a consultant, a strategist, a mentor starts telling you what to do. Go do this, go create this, go whatever. And they haven't looked at your inner game, your mental state, worked with you in your positive psychology and gotten into your inner game. If you don't believe you're going to be successful, you're not. If you've got money stories, you're not. I have a friend that's created $8 million businesses. Each one has done about $1 million to $3 million. And every single time he's gone bankrupt and lost the business. And he came to me and said, I really need your help building this next business. I'm like, dude, it's a no. If you want my help fixing this so that you create a sustainable business, yeah. And I want you to really think about this. You have to change your behaviors. And by the way, sometimes that is the longest part of the journey. Please be patient, loving, gentle, and kind with yourself. Expect gradual results. My husband, over a year now, almost a year and a half, more than a year and a half ago, he lost 86 pounds. He didn't lose them, he released them because he's not choosing to find them, right? And he didn't do that overnight. It was a work in progress, right? And I remember the first month, he's like, I'm not seeing any change. In the first month, I think he lost 26 pounds. The second month, he came home from work one day and literally his pants were like around his hips. I'm like, Mo, pull your pants up. He's like, you know, I've been falling down all day. Uh-huh. The progress was starting to happen. And that's how it works. Number 10, please don't stress yourself out. Change can be stress. We all have some kind of stress. There is what's called eustress, which is good stress in our lives. And we create a little stress when we say, I'm going to own a business and be an entrepreneur, or we step out of our comfort zone. That stress can cause anxiety if you allow it. I'm very, very big on consciously, how do you choose to experience your life? Choose your feelings and don't choose stress. It's up to you. Choose to spend time with your family. Choose to spend time in silence. Choose to spend time noticing the beautiful things. Ken, by the way, lives on Malta, which is I'm going to go visit. We're going to do an event there. And Ken, very frequently, as I said, we have an app that we use with our clients, and it's a video app, and we all chat on that app every day. And Ken puts up, oh my gosh, so just like give me goosebumps. He puts up views from his walk and views from the beach and the rolling ocean. He's taking time to smell the roses or to enjoy the beach. And I want you to take your time, everyone. Enjoy your family, enjoy your friends, enjoy your life. So I'm going to digress for 1 second. And I'll try not to be emotional. My very close friend, Betsy Lechner Gibson, has been my best friend for 20 years. Was more like a sister. My sister and I never really were close, big age difference. And 2 weeks ago, today, as a matter of fact, I got a call from her husband, literally. She all of a sudden was in hospice. She was in a vegetative state and she was going to pass quickly. I rushed home from Mexico. They allowed me into hospice as I was listed as her sister. And she was already really gone. However, I got to hold her and talk to her and say goodbye. 2 days later would have been a birthday that she'd been looking forward to, her 65th birthday. Stop and enjoy your lives. Life goes by and we don't know our checkout dates. If you're not taking time for yourself, for your family, for your friends, if you're following a coach, consultant, or mentor who works day and night and doesn't live their life, I want you to live your life. Life is too short. This is an important point. I'm not just about helping you make money. I'm wanting to help you have a delicious life. Number 11, and I don't care who this is, but please don't do this alone. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate it. Get a coach or a consultant or a strategist, okay, not a mentor. Let me explain why. I currently have 8 of these in my life. I'm not advocating you need 8, but I have 8 that do different things. I have one that is literally a billionaire and one of the most famous people on the planet. And he is my business consultant. I have one that is a humor coach. I want to look at my life and enjoy it more. I have one that is a relationship coach. And I've been with my husband since I'm 17. We started dating since we're 17. I won't say how old I am. It's a long time ago. For how young I am. We still have a relationship coach. We have an amazing relationship. I'm so blessed to have him in my life, and yet we want to amp it up and make it better every single day. I have a dietitian coach. I'm not looking to lose weight. I just want to make sure I eat healthy and live a sustainable life. I have a health and wellness. I could go on and on. Get someone, because you need someone to hold you accountable, and a friend is not who to use, or someone who just happens to be in your same little group. Like, oh yeah, we're all working with the same coach, consultant, or mentor. I'll get you to be my accountability partner. No, they are not the person running at the higher level to be giving you advice. Get someone on your team. Make sure that you do that. And again, I don't care if it's me or someone else, get someone. Number 12, sorry, I clicked a little fast. I do recommend that you have some kind of a mastermind group where that coach or consultant leads. And this is really important. Years ago, I joined a mastermind and it was just a bunch of people all running at the same level without an expert guiding us. And so we were all making, what seemed like good decisions, but we're all making terrible decisions. And we're all doing it together. So make sure that your coach or consultant is running some kind of a group where you're getting support. I stopped doing individual coaching and consulting years ago because this is what happened. True story. I was working with a client in the morning named Lisa. I always remember this. And I gave her advice. And about 3 hours later, I had another client named Lisa. And I gave her advice that sounded like what I said in the morning to my other client. And I stopped for a minute. I'm like, which client am I talking to? And then I realized I give the same advice probably 20 times a day. I'm telling people the same thing because while I'm tweaking it, ultimately there's a formula, which I'm going to give all of you in just a minute. I'm going to give it away. So then I started putting people in a group and I did an experiment. I took 15 people, I put them in a group for $1,500 a person for, I think it was 6 weeks. And I said, if you don't get value from the group, I'll give you your money back and I'll never do groups again. What happened is, those were my individual clients that I did it with, is I started getting testimonial after testimonial, how much faster they were building, the momentum they were having, the joint ventures they were doing, the alliances, the growth they were doing, and that was it. So I recommend that not only do you get a coach or consultant, you make sure that you mastermind with them as well. Number 13, I love this one. Let enthusiasm show. My gosh, make this more of an adventure. I think if I take it to weight loss, people go on a diet, has the word die built in. What a horrible word. And they're making these changes like, oh, I can't eat carbs and I have to do intermittent fasting and I can't this and I can't that. And by the way, Eileen is masterful at how you can do this without any of that. We'll get to her in just a minute. And then it's kind of drudgery. And then they reach their goal. They're, I'm so happy I lost weight. And then they gain the weight back. Well, why? Because it was drudgery to get there. Make building your company fun, easy, effortless, joyful, and fun. Get up excited. Be excited about doing it. The journey should be just as exciting as the destination, right? I'm lifting all this weight and I'm not going, oh, I'm going to get to the end goal. There isn't really an end goal. It's just, I want to be strong and I want to be healthy as long as I possibly can while I'm on the planet. And lifting weight for me, oh, it's so much fun. Let's see what I can do today. Number 14, now that you know where you're going, what are the pros and cons of where you're going? And I talk in terms of, quote, positive and negative, yet I don't believe in positive and negative other than like a magnet or something. Everything that happens is not, quote, positive or negative, it just happens. It's what we attribute to it. You can see being locked down as the worst thing that ever happened. I see lockdown in many ways as having been a very positive experience. My husband and I are closer than ever. We had a friend that had a quarantine with us and we've become closer than ever. Yeah, Vilma's like, good, bad, who knows? There's no such thing as these things. It's just what you ascribe to it. Look at your goals and say, what are the things that I could really benefit from and the things that might hinder? So if you set this really big goal that's going to give you no time to stop and smell the roses, take a walk on the beach, be with your family, your spiritual practice, be healthy, it's not good for you. Quote, good for you. All right. I have to mention this. Be prepared for some setbacks. I have that picture of the horse because when I was a young girl, I was horseback riding for the second time. The first time I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. I was going to do this every day. And the second time, I think you probably know where this is going. The horse decided didn't want me on its back anymore. And boom, there I was on the ground. And my dad was with me and I'm like, I'm not getting up. I'm not doing this. I'm never riding a horse again. I never want to go on a horse. And my father's like, I'm picking you up and putting you on the horse. And I remember I was crying and I was holding onto the reins and the same exact horse that just threw me off. I spent about an hour and a half riding. I still remember the horse was called Gus. I fell in love with this horse. And I was really glad that I understood setbacks could happen, right? Regina says, it happens. It happened to her recently. This too shall pass. There are days when things work so well. And there are days when you revert back to your old habits, right? So my husband had really cut back on carbs when he lost all this weight. We were in Mexico just recently. I'm like, noticing he ate carbs at breakfast and at lunch and at dinner, and normally eats carbs once a day. Those were quotes and setbacks. All was not lost. He got back on the kind of what I call his program of not eating as many carbs. Are you kidding? Deborah said Gus was the name of the horse that took off with you. I wonder if it was the same guy. Number 16, prepare in advance. So I'm going to get a little psychology on you again. Your subconscious has to adjust to changes. If we make changes really sudden, your whole body and your brain is taught. That's how humans are programmed, fight or flight. Oh, it's too much change. And we fight against it, even though we're not trying to. You succeed when you take your time and you prepare in advance, slow and steady. You were 12 when that happened. I don't remember how young I was. I think I was 11. That's so funny, Deborah. All right, please reward yourself. Look for ways to reward yourself. It builds momentum. So when I went from, I didn't all of a sudden do bench presses with my body weight, trust me. But when I went from like 50 to 75 pounds, I thought that was pretty impressive. And so I didn't go have, cake and ice cream. I did reward myself though. I actually took off 2 days from training. And during the time that I normally would have trained, I went and I walked along the beach because that's my favorite thing to do. And I spent 2 hours walking along the beach. That was my reward. Set up a reward system for yourself. And then set a deadline. You all know how to set goals, right? You have to have a time frame, but please hear me on this. Make your time frame realistic. If you have 5 prospects today, you're not going to have 500 tomorrow. Okay, most likely. Plan for an end date, though. We're talking quarter by quarter, quarter by quarter. And then set a limit. You see how I kind of brought Ken to a very small, specific thing. When an entrepreneur is got all these different things, well, I'm in this one program and I have to create a webinar, and I'm in this other program and I have to go through and I have to create a book, and I'm in this other program, and that's incredibly overwhelming. One thing at a time, one thing at a time. And then track your progress, however you do that. I take my quarterly goals, and I was telling you, I split them into very, very small, manageable tasks. They go on my Google Calendar. This week, I only have one thing to do. I have to connect with 5 more people who potentially will want to sponsor the Health and Resiliency Conference that we're doing. I have the 5 people, have a way of contacting them. That's it. And keep some kind of a chart of your progress so you can keep seeing where you've come. This is the most interesting thing. Here you are here, and here's where you want to go. This thing in the middle is where most people forget to look. You are moving closer every day to your goal if you're taking action steps. Instead of looking at the goal going, I'm not there yet, I'm not there yet. Don't look at that. Look at, oh, what did I do? Oh, you should give yourselves a round of applause. You showed up here. You're dedicating time for yourself to work on your business instead of in your business. Number 21, yes, please do talk to yourself in a positive way. Okay. If you're talking to yourself and saying, this is going to be hard, I'm not going to be able to do it. I know Ken can do it. I know Mia Redrick's been with Terri for 17 years and she makes millions and millions and only works a few hours a month, but I'm not going to be able to do that. Oh, I don't have a coaching business. I have an integrative medicine business. Oh, I don't have an integrative medicine business. I'm a speaker. Terri doesn't understand where I'm at, blah, blah, blah. When you start doing all of that, basically tell your brain, it's not going to happen, not going to happen. And then your brain goes, yep, you're right. Remember, brain can't tell fantasy from reality. So instead, tell your brain, I'm not saying just to do positive affirmations, my friends. Action has to be built into that. Number 22, I am very big on writing down your goals. Very, very big on writing your goals. So Ken, my request of you is in our client channel that we use for communication. Go ahead and drop your goals in there today and say, hey, everyone, I want to share my goals with you. Terri consulted with me on today's webinar, and here's my goals. Why do I want you to write your goals down? And this is for everyone. I'm giving Ken the assignment vicariously. I'm giving you all some home play to do, right? You all have to do this. If you write something down, a little psychology again, the human brain imprints it. If you talk it, if you think it, if you say it, it does a little bit. When you write it down, and I do not mean type it down, I mean I want you to write it on paper, it actually, keyboarding, by the way, just so everyone knows, keyboarding uses one hemisphere of your brain. It shuts off creativity. Any of you that write, whether you write a blog, you write a book, you write an ebook, you write a report, you really want to do that handwritten. It can both hemispheres of the brain engage, and it opens creativity and flow. When you write out your goals, it literally write out your goals. It speaks to your brain, and it starts getting your brain to not tell fantasy from reality, and your brain starts working on them. Writing out your goals is very important. Deborah says, definitely. Yeah, I agree. Denise says, I just put mine on my whiteboard. Perfect, aligned. Next, you visualize the goal. The pen is going to visualize, wow, what does it look like when I have the right qualified prospects coming every single day, and I have 10 or more people that are in my program that I'm helping? And you go to the visualization of, how does this feel? So every single day I'm working on the Resiliency Summit, right? Every single day, the first thing I do before I open email, before I start looking at social media or working with my clients on our channel that we use in our app, or looking at our written Slack app or any of that, I sit here and visualize this summit. We have these amazing sponsors. We have 40 countries represented. We are serving people all over the world, hundreds of thousands of people, and we're helping them. When I see it, you see it every single day. I take time to vision it. 24 is, now that we've talked about all this change, now you know the goal, Ken knows the goal, and I know Ken, decide you'll stick with it. Even at the times it's like, it's not that comfortable. It's not, I want to switch this. And Ken comes to me and goes, yeah, Terri, I decided I want, no. Make the choice, stay in the lane, stick with the goal, okay? Make the choice, stay in the lane, stick with the goal. And then I just want to say, hang in there. Don't give up. There are going to be times when it's like, oh, this was not a good day. It was so discouraging. I just want to quit. Or when technology doesn't work. Regina just had a technology thing. She just hung in there. She's like, all right, it's a little bumpy right now. It's a technology thing. We've had a technology thing on my website recently. Just keep plugging away. We don't just shift and run away. So before I work with Eileen, I want you to take a minute and think about how you'll put these strategies into practice. This is literally how you will have your best start to a great quarter. And I'm going to teach you more of the strategies in just a moment. I just want to share what I want for you before I work with Eileen. I want your quarter. Forget the money for a minute. I talked about the money. I want your quarter to be filled with happiness, with love, and with whatever change you desire. So it's not just about money. All right, so we're going to work with Eileen, and we're going to use the same 5-question framework. First, I'm going to tell you she filled me in also. So let me pull up my Eileen sheet. So she's also achieved a lot. So we're going to start with what is working. So Eileen says she has achieved learning the 4 pillars of marketing that I teach. She has achieved creating a core unique positioning statement, a consumer awareness guide with the right headlines and subheads, a landing page for both of these, a short video webinar with PowerPoint slides, her webinar video. She's almost got her landing page done. It's really cool, by the way. I'm going to have her share that when it's done, because she's giving away a customized meal plan, and she is really amazing. So let me unmute Eileen. Hang on just a second. You can unmute Eileen. Hi there.
Hi everyone. Hi, Terri.
So good to have you. So first, I want everybody just give her a round of applause. Let's see those applause. She's done such a great job. Look at all these applause coming in for you. She has accomplished so much, and I just want to honor you and admire you. And one of the things I'll share about Eileen is, again, I see applause. Thank you. I see that she is so open-minded and curious. If I say, hey, Eileen, I want you, thanks, Paul. If I say, Eileen, I want you to shift over here or do this, she instantly goes back to the webinar, thanks, Connie, and she makes the change. She doesn't get frustrated. She doesn't throw up her hand. She's like, okay, got it. And she makes the change. So I want to admire that. So we know what works. What makes it work?
I believe it is your way of coaching us is very clear. You give us step-by-step process, and I just need to follow that. Because I have done with other mentors, I still don't get it. and I don't implement it because I am still at the loss.
So
I don't know
makes
which
it
step.
So what makes it work, I want to kind of stay there, is that you've got a step-by-step process that you're following. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, beautiful.
So it's clear from you whenever I do something and I submit, and you will get back to us very fast, which is a very good positive reply. I mean, whether it's positive or negative reply, but it's a reply so that we can get it going.
Good.
Yeah.
So I want everyone to pay attention, live vicariously through her. She accomplished a ton of stuff, and she is now telling you what makes it work. That's 17 seconds, right? And for her, the 17 seconds is having an action plan, following step by step, tweaking, getting responses, and making changes. So everyone on the same page. So I want you to talk to us about the ideal quarter. What would be the one thing that ideally would happen this quarter that would make you feel like this was a great quarter?
Yeah, I want to launch a program and get response. And I hope to get like 20 to 30 clients within the quarter.
Okay, so I'm going to pay attention for everyone for this. Get response is kind of generic. Get response could be, hey, that's nice, Eileen. Okay, patch on the head. So, and this is for everyone. Vicariously, I'm working with everyone. And then 20 to 30. So we want to get specific. So we don't want to get response. What is it that you really want to have happen?
I mean, 20 to 30 clients. That means they will follow my program.
Perfect. 20 to 30 clients or more. That's a reminder for everyone. I'll answer in a second, Robert. 20 or 30 clients or more into her program, correct?
Yeah.
Good. So Robert is asking, Eileen, what do you do?
I help women with diabetes how to choose the most effective weight loss method. Perfect.
So by the way, if any of you know someone or are someone who is a woman with diabetes, you will want to connect with Eileen. And if any of you really want to adapt and pivot through mindset, you'll want to connect with Ken. Okay, so see if that's making sense. Eileen, is there a place that they can go to find out more about you yet, or are we still in progress of getting these done?
Yes, it's in my domain. It is women with diabetes. Weight loss for women with diabetes.com.
Great. Weight loss for women with diabetes.com. Weight loss for women with diabetes.com. All of you, not now. You're going to want to check that out. She's got great content. And if this happens to be you, you definitely can learn from her, and her customized meal plan is amazing. Okay, so we know what her ideal vision is for the quarter. So Eileen, give us a summary of what's not quite right yet.
I'm not so good at the moment, right up to now.
Good.
With technical things.
Perfect.
So like setting up the landing page and editing the video and things like that, I'm not so good at it. So I asked somebody to help me with that. Good. So that I can move forward.
So let me ask the audience out of curiosity, do any of you either struggle with setting up technology or just don't like it? Is that anybody? Raise your hand if that's you. Getting quite a few people. So I can do all the technology stuff, gang. And I'm talking Eileen and all of you. I don't do it. It's not my area of brilliance. It takes way too much time. So I have people that do these things. Eileen knows and Ken knows at Heartrepreneur, we also have a done for you agency where we have virtual assistants that do this for our client family members who want that. The truth of the matter is, I don't want any of you, even if you like tech and you're good at it, focused on that. I want all of you to find someone to do it. So if some of you are newer and saying, well, I'm a new business, I don't have that kind of money, Terry, go barter. When I first started, my first virtual assistant was barter. My first technical person who did my first website, because it was pretty early on in the days of the web, was barter. Everything was barter. And the way I work now is pay per performance. So you get paid 0 if you're on my team, 0 unless you perform. And if you perform, then you get paid a lot more money than when you would have gotten paid, so that you're really part of the team. Deborah says, I've been doing it for 35 years. I'm working on identifying people to delegate it to. Brilliant. So I don't do anything in my business other than coaching and consulting. And then I do content because it just pours out of my head and I love it. It's a hobby. That's it. Everybody else does what needs to get done. So I'm going to work with Eileen, and I want to bring up a point for all of you as I'm working with Eileen. Her quarterly goal is 20 to 30 or more people, not just responding, right, joining her program. And she's got all these technology things that have to happen to make everything that she's spent the last quarter on work. And she's done an amazing job, as you can tell, on everything she's done in the last quarter. So at this point, my advice, by the way, so I'm putting on my consulting hat, is find someone as soon as possible, and sounds like you might have, just to delegate all this stuff, give them a time frame and a deadline to get her done. Because to get to your goals, you have to have this. The second thing, so that's one piece of advice, this is for her and anybody else. The second piece of advice, Eileen, directly for you that others can learn from, is if you're starting a brand new program and you don't have anyone in it, while it's wonderful to go for 20 to 30 people, my recommendation is 5. And I'm going to explain why, and I'm going to tell you how to get the 5. Okay. And here's why. And by the way, it's 5 or more. It's 5 or more. Once you get 5 people, you start to get momentum and you start to get energy. You can get 5 testimonials. They can tell 5 friends, and then you can have 10 the next month. So I'm going to give you 2 examples. I guess I won't use names. We have a client family member who is a yoga instructor and was switching from, during the pandemic, was switching to online versus offline, and said, well, I want to have, it was like 100 people taking my online yoga studio course. I said, go get 5. And here's how you do it. So this is note time, everyone. You go talk to 5 people that you think are perfect. So Eileen's going to go find 5 people. And if any of you are her people, you're going to connect with her in Entrepreneurs with Terri Levine, the Facebook group. She's in there and she's active. And you're going to say, Eileen, I might want in. She's going to find 5 women that have diabetes and that want to lose weight. And instead of selling her program for her normal price, Eileen, you're going to reduce it 50%, 50. That's for everyone, 50%. And you're going to say to the 5 people, look, I'm only going to take 5 people in this pilot program. So let me give you an example with a yoga person. Normally, she was going to be offering for a year, I think it was for $5,000, all the yoga classes you wanted, plus some private yoga Zooms. So she wanted to get 100 people at least doing that. I said, go get 5. And I said, give it to the first 5 at $2,500. Okay. So she said, okay, you can come into my program for half price, provided you do 2 things. One is you do the program. You actively show up and do the program and you're committed to it. And 2, if you enjoy the program, you will create a video testimonial that I can share with other people. And she said to them, this is all what I teach. You are going to make sure that you are the most amazing yoga instructor for those people, that they are going to fall in love with it. And you're going to guarantee them that. You're going to say, you know what, Eileen, I'm going to take you in this yoga program and I'm going to make you the happiest client ever. Why? Because I need your video testimonial. You're going to come in for half price and you're going to have an amazing experience. Then you get those 5 people, you have 5 amazing video testimonials, and then you offer it the next month at full price. Does that make sense, Eileen?
Yeah.
Let me just ask the group, does that help anybody? Raise your hand if that created some value. Robert, Ken, Michael, Andrea, Marina. Yeah. Oh, they're going. Yay, good. And this is one of the things that I want you to get, and what I talked about, small, slow chunks and not having goals that are too big. Okay, so what I'm talking to everybody about. I really want you to focus on something small. You're going to get 5 people and Eileen's going to be like, yeah, let's make them successful And then next month, let's go get 5 at the regular price or more. Okay. And by the way, Eileen used some wording that I want to point out because she's a great student. Ken knows where I'm going with this. She said, up until now, everyone write that down. Up until now, I learned those words from my dear friend who I love so much, Jack Canfield, a long, long time ago. And I have embedded those words in my head and in my through my pen and air coaching, as my clients know. So the way that we tell our brain that we want to end something is, I've been struggling with this up until now. This has been a challenge up until now. I haven't been able to lose weight up until now. I'm not getting high paying clients up until now. I don't have enough patients up until now. It literally neurologically says to the brain, Denise is like, I caught it. Yeah, she heard it. It says to the brain, it's over. Okay, so I haven't met the woman or the man or the partner of my dreams up until now. I haven't figured out how to handle my diabetes as a woman up until now. I need to lose weight as a woman and I can't keep it off up until now. Just a couple of examples. Okay, so for the quarter, we have her quarterly goal. I kind of gave her the tools and resources she needed. I didn't ask the question, right? I just went and gave it to her, and I want to do a teaching point. So both Ken and Eileen had sent me forms so that I could work with them. On Eileen's, she had for the next quarter, she was going to start using a tool that we have called Pepper. She wanted to get qualified leads. We talked about that. So that's become her goal. And she wanted to have a certain sales revenue in there. Well, we didn't talk about the sales revenue because if we can go get the qualified leads and go get 5 people into her program, we're on our way to that. So we didn't need all these goals. And she wanted to do a profit and loss spreadsheet. Sidebar, a lot of your language reminds me of Connie Andreas. I don't know who that is, but okay, cool. So what I drilled her down to, so I want all of you to think about this, and this is why you don't just set these and go on your own. You need to have somebody kind of at a different level who has a lot of experience doing this, taking a look at what you have and helping you come up with just the one actionable thing. By the way, Eileen, does it feel a lot simpler to go get 5 people than to be getting 20 to 30 people?
Yeah, it's more achievable.
Good. That's what we want. That's what we want. All right. Thank you. I'm going to put you back on mute. Thank you. I'm going to go forward, gang. We're going to do a little bit more. Let's just quickly get the profit formula down. If you didn't take the 5 steps down, you want to write them down. What's working in your business? What makes it work? What's your ideal outcome? What's not quite right yet? And what are the resources that you need right now? Deborah Smart says, up until now, I've been doing it myself. I'm identifying people to delegate to. I'm applauding you. Well done. Awesome. All right. You can leave at this point or you can stay. I'm going to now dive into how do we do business the new way? And this is up to you. If you want that formula, you can stay. If you're like, I got it, you can go. It's totally your choice. But I want to go through the new way for those of you who want it. The first is you have to set up a guerrilla marketing system. I am a master certified guerrilla marketing trainer and coach. I wrote 2 books with J. Conrad Levinson before he passed. Guerrilla marketing, if you don't know it, is low and no cost marketing, period, end of story. Some of you have read my book, Guerrilla Marketing for Beauty Salons or Guerrilla Marketing for Salons. I tell the truth, it's the same book. You could buy either one of those books and cross out the name spa and put in chiropractor or put in trainer or put in speaker or put in whatever you want. It's the same book. I'm just very, very transparent about that exact same book. Oh, you met him and you follow him. Awesome. So what is guerrilla marketing? It is low and no cost marketing where you stand alone from everyone else in your industry. By the way, many of you, I'm saying this with love, your websites look like everybody else's, your messaging sounds like everybody else's, you don't have a core unique positioning statement. In the world of the same old, whether it's patient care or client care, you better look different. Number 2 is you implement reverse marketing. I talk about this as being a conveyor belt of qualified leads. You can actually get a free training on this at TL for Terri Levine, tlwebinar.com. anytime you want. That's automated webinar. If you want more free training, it's there for you. Reverse marketing is where people raise their hands every day. So let me just give you a quick idea of what happened this morning. My business. I woke up. There is a form filled out after someone watched TL webinar. He says, I Googled high ticket sales. I found you. I watched your webinar. I love who you are and your style. I'm looking for a business consultant. Can we have a strategy session? I didn't go hunt for him. He found me. Right before I got here with all of you, my 800 number at my office got a call for somebody who watched my webinar who's in the health and wellness field at promisingprofits.com, also free, automated. And they called my office and said, I've been looking for someone like Terri. How do I get started? Okay, we're not hunting, they're coming. Third thing is simplify your services or products. Please don't try to speak to everyone. When Eileen first started with me, she could help everyone with weight loss, everyone. We narrowed it down to women, and then we narrowed it down to women with diabetes. Then we narrowed it down to women with diabetes in a certain age range. Don't be afraid that that means, oh, Eileen just lost so much of her audience. Nope. You have to drill down to a specific audience. Dr. Polly is working, talking to a specific audience. Can she do more? Yes. And then the last step in the new way is everything needs to be automated. You want everything in your business automated. If you ever want to sell your company or pass it on to someone, you have to have it automated. The reason I've sold my companies and businesses is it's automated. The reason I have so much time freedom, and I want that for you, is everything happens automatically. I don't have to do it. Next, stop using unproven marketing. I want to be as abundantly clear as I possibly can be. You have to stop doing what you're doing. I know I've only given you, sort of a foundational steps here, but stop doing anything you're doing that doesn't make money. If you're hiding behind your computer and reading emails and sending out emails, no one's opening them, you're posting all over social media, stop. You're trying to get people to join your Facebook group, stop. I get invited to join Facebook groups that make no sense. Male warriors. I'm like, why would you invite me to this? I got one that said, women who are trying to get pregnant. Oh, that's a good trick at my age. I don't think that's going to work. Okay. So stop what you're doing and only focus on what's proven and what works. Guerrilla marketing. The old way is marketing the way that you're marketing, asking people for referrals, handing out business cards, posting all over social media. I'm hoping someone's going to see it. Having a million products and services and courses at all different levels and hoping someone will buy it, discounting your products or services. Okay. Now I want to make it clear, guerrilla marketing and branding are totally different. Most people end up wasting their time, money, and energy on branding. I need a logo. I need a designer to design my website. That's a waste of money. You don't need any of that. None of this. So guerrilla marketing actually gives you a return on investment. When you're doing business this old way, you get what I call the old result. You're frustrated. You're not getting the right prospects. Other people are doing just what you're doing, so people buy from someone cheaper. If you're a coach or a consultant or a naturopath or whatever, and you look like everybody else, that's not going to work. If you're using the same exact system as every other coach or every other integrative medicine practitioner, you look exactly the same. I'll go to the cheapest one. Doesn't make any sense. Why you? And if you have to give away deals or discounts, that's not going to make you money. And it's extremely frustrating. So let's toss out the old. Let's let in the new. Here's the new. Marketing the new way, be prepared, is going to sound counterintuitive to anything you've been taught or done in the past. This new way of marketing always sounds a little crazy when I first give it to people. Step number one is that you raise your prices. My client family members know this. That's one of the first things I have them do. Step number two is you have to have a proprietary business model, a program, a method, or a system that no one else can claim. My method is called Promising Profits, okay? My method is my method. No one else has it. No one else sounds like me. No one else looks like me. Number three, you have to actually come in touch with your prospects in a way that nobody else does it. And I'm not going to share that because that's proprietary how I do it. Then you become the only business. There's not a lot of choices. It's only you. So what happens? You're finally clear. Oh, this is my business and how it's different from everybody else's. You're instantly positioned as an expert with a very small audience doing one thing. And you could get to charge high ticket because your audience is happy to pay for it. You stop looking like a cookie cutter business. You deliver your products and services differently than everyone else. Let me give you a quick case study. Some of you are going to recognize yourselves here. So I have a lot of clients here, I see. One of my client family members is a mental health therapist and specializes in working with kids. And he looked like every other therapist when he came to me, at a very generic website and offering. And I said, we're going to specialize. What are we going to specialize in? And we came up with a need that parents have. We specialize just in that need. Website change to talk about that. We created a core unique positioning statement, a consumer awareness guide, an atomic webinar. Very quickly, he was able to, using my friend Joel Bauer's words, sort, sift, and separate himself away from every other therapist. He became known as the credible expert. And of course, his income grew big time. All right, let's go to step number 2. There's 4 steps in what I'm teaching you. Implement reverse marketing. If you're spending your time trying to generate leads and hunting for prospects and dropping into every Facebook group and blah, 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 they won't become a patient or a client. The old result is you're talking to people all day or messaging people who are not interested in paying for your products or services. And then you've got to try to overcome their objections or manipulate them or pitch to them or convince them. We don't do that, by the way. If someone comes in to talk with me or my team and they have an objection, they're just done. We had a guy the other day, he's a musician. First of all, he's not right to work with me. And second of all, he had like 20 objections. And I just sent him a quick little video, said, hey, thanks for your interest and time. You're not the right kind of person for me to help. And I wish you the best of luck. Okay, don't be afraid to say no. You need to say no. Okay, so what happens with the old result, even if you do get clients or patients, they're not perfect. And then they don't follow what you tell them to do, what advice you give, or your program, or your service, and who do they blame? They don't do this, they blame you. You don't want that. They're not going to be happy. They're not going to be fun to work with. I've had one of those over my career, and my gosh, it was miserable. And I ended up firing the person. It was my own fault. I remember when we took the person, we had a few questions. Now we know not to do that. So we're going to toss out the old, let's let in the new. The new way is reverse marketing. And the way to do this is a consumer awareness guide and an atomic webinar. You only need 2 pieces of content and nothing else. You'll look at, again, Ken and Eileen's stuff. You'll go to Heartrepreneurs, the Facebook group, Heartrepreneurs with Terri Levine. Go into the files. I literally give you how to do this and samples. So what happens is people start to find you. They, just like the 2 examples I gave you, they raise their hand, they come to you. It's not running Facebook ads or LinkedIn ads and trying to get people to pay attention. It is massive education that lets people who are eager to learn show up. You came because you're eager to learn, and I'm eager to help you. And you create a consumer awareness guide, and you run this atomic webinar that we call a master class, and that's really it. Strategically, you can do some posting on social media. That's it. Okay, so what happens? As a result, ideal prospects show up, they make inquiries, they schedule appointments, they're ready. And they might have a couple questions, right? They might say, oh, I'm curious about this, or how does Terri do this, or whatever. But they typically have sold themselves. They're asking to become a client. So I don't know if this person's on here because there's a lot of you and I haven't checked, but I'll call this person Dr. B. Came to me with a lot of lead gen strategies in place and was generating leads. And most of the leads didn't have the funds because she's concierge functional medicine practitioner. She's like, I am wasting so much time with these people and I have to try to convince them to invest in themselves. And some of them would sign on and then they wouldn't follow her protocols and they would drop out. I said, okay, forget it. One tiny little niche. Raise the prices, get rid of the unqualified leads, do an application. If they're not willing to invest X, they're not even interested in them. Now she's only getting vetted people who are qualified and they're seeking her out. That's the cash generating machine. And she has a lot more impact this way, a lot greater impact. Number 3, simplify your services. Oh, I hope you're all breathing that one in. I go to some websites and I don't even know what to buy. I was looking at somebody's site today and they had 9 packages. I just laughed, like I'll buy from somebody else. The old ways is offering a lot of results. Oh, I can help you get more leads. I can help you close more sales. I can help you create your high ticket programs. I can help you create courses. No, one thing. So while I can do all of those things, and my clients will tell you we do all of that, I only start with one thing. Let me help you get a conveyor belt of qualified prospects. Do that first. One thing. And if you sound like a jack of all trades and I could cross out your name and put my name there, there's no reason to get to buy from you. I'll buy from somebody else. I say this a lot. Barbara Portzline always reminds me, Terry, you drilled this into my head. A confused mind never buys. If you're confused, you just go, I don't know. I don't like going to Chinese restaurants, though I love Chinese food, because it's column A, column B, column C. I'm like, oh, I'm so confused. So I get the same thing every time because I'm too confused. Eileen's laughing at that. The old result is you're not speaking to one audience about one result. You don't have a brand and you're all over the place. So the new way, you speak about one type of product or service to one type of patient or client. It's not what I call spray and pray. Vilma knows I talk about that. Spray and pray is, oh, I can help you with your mindset. I can help you grow your business. I can help you grow your relationships. I can help you sell more. Blah, 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 blah. You're all over the place. Oh, and by the way, I also have an essential oils company on the side. You want to be part of my network marketing team? Who are you? So the new way, you spend very little time and money on marketing and advertising. You're not all things to all people. You're very specific. The new result, you're seen as an expert in one thing, and people flock to you because you've created a deep and narrow niche. That's how you get expert status. People ask me about expert status all the time. So let's do a case study. This is a dietitian, might also be here, I'm not sure, trying to appeal to men and women of any age who want to lose weight. And when this family member came to me, she'd spent a lot of money on marketing and on many different mentors and couldn't even close the lead she was getting. And I looked at the leads, I'm like, well, of course not. They're not ideal prospects. So stop appealing to everyone who wants to lose weight. Let's talk just to women between a specific age range, 30 to 50, who had hormonal challenges. Just one thing. That didn't, by the way, dilute all the other people. They come anyway, if any of you are fearing that. She became positioned as an expert in the area. We started reverse marketing. She got 9 leads, 3 of whom hired her instantly. That's how reverse marketing works. It happens fast. And the fourth part, automation. The old way is hours on marketing. Just behind your computer, creating content and PowerPoints and blah, blah, blah. And that spray and pray, trying everything and hope something would work and being told marketing's the numbers game. The old result is you're bouncing from strategy to strategy. You're wasting time, money, and energy. And if you're working with any mentors, coaches, consultants, strategists who don't guarantee results, I would basically say stop. I only hire people who guarantee results. I guarantee a 200% return on investment. And if you have a product or service you can't guarantee, please stop selling it. I really mean that. Go sell something you can guarantee. So I've had people come and they're like, one day they're doing Facebook ads. Well, that didn't work. I'm going to create an online course. Somebody told me that I should have an Ask Me page. I think Instagram is where I have to go. I'm going to go get a different mentor. I'm going to enroll in this Pinterest program or whatever it is. There's no solid way that's guaranteed to bring them a conveyor belt of qualified prospects. And that is a problem. That is a huge problem. My mouse is stuck. Come on, little mouse. That's funny. My mouse does not want to go. Go. Let me see if it'll go. It doesn't want to move. I outsmarted the mouse. All right, so we're going to kick out the old, in with the new. The new. Only use what is proven and what 100% works. Stop that shiny objects. Let's see. Michael White has to go. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here. Robertson, give it some cheese. That worked. Thanks for coming, Michael. All right, so the new way is automated. You stick to it. That was one of the things I taught you today. No more shiny objects. You stay there. The new result is things are automated. You have a lot of time freedom. You have an automated process. You don't have to close anyone. People go, can you teach me to close people? No, don't close anyone. Can you teach me to pitch? I don't pitch. I stand on stage and I say, whether it's virtual or in person, and hey, if you like what you heard and you want to go further, raise your hand. I don't pitch. I don't have a fancy close, although I've worked with people and I know all the closes. I don't use them. I also was trained by Zig Ziglar in sales. He was my first mentor. I could do the Ben Franklin close and the penny close and 50 more closes. I don't use them. I don't like them. I feel like I have to take a shower. Velma says, Terri saves me from SOS, the object syndrome. I like that, Velma. That's a good one. I never saw that one before. All right, real quick case study. Client wanted to increase his client base. He's on the call. He spent 2 years trying coaches, consultants, mentors, sales, marketing courses. Oh my God, I don't remember how much money he spent. His results were minimal, and here's what his days were like. He was writing articles. He was speaking on tons of podcasts that didn't have his audience. He was posting all over every form of social media, and he joined a referral networking group that didn't have its target audience, by the way. Not only was it time consuming, he would get on the phone with prospects for about an hour and try to convince them to become a client. And he said, I don't know what to do. So I said, you're going to do automation. And I talked to him and his staff, and they felt aligned. We went to Automated Consumer Awareness Guide, the Atomic webinar, and all of a sudden they had qualified prospects and they didn't have to close any of them. They weren't being sold. They were asking a few questions and that was it. And then they would say yes. So it's very simple. Let me just refresh you. Set up a guerrilla marketing system, implement reverse marketing, simplify your services to maximize your impact, develop and implement organization. That is how you double your income, cut your hours in half, and run your practice or business in the way I'm teaching you. Low and no cost strategy that gives you more qualified prospects, more clients or patients, more free time, more income. That, by the way, that's really what Promising Profits is. So let me just sum this up. You can take what you've learned today, you can go do it on your own, and awesome, I applaud you. It's not impossible to do that. It's going to take you a lot of time. I'm going to tell you that. I know that for a fact. And I don't think it's the best option because you don't know what you don't know. So what happens is you spend a lot of time, money, and energy learning from your mistakes instead of earning from someone else who's made the mistakes before you. If you're interested, I do take you by the hand. I do nurture you, take you under my wing, and it's a lot shorter than what you're going to have to do on your own. So option number 2, you can hire one of the millions. I mean, it's just ridiculous how many people call themselves business coaches, claiming to get results in a sea of industries. And I'll tell you that the real reputable business coaches that I have hired are about 50 grand a year, and they don't even guarantee their results. And they usually don't have the specific knowledge of the 4 things that I've taught you. They do it the old way. Now, if you want, it's totally up to you, and this is not a pitch, it's asking you if you're interested, and that's up to you. You can actually join us at Promising Profits if you want help implementing the steps. I guarantee you'll get results in about a 37th of the time, effort, and cost, because I've been there, done that for 27 years with 6,000 people. The solution works. But before you jump in and think that you might want to do this, I want to make this very clear. This program is not for everyone, okay? We will turn you down if you are not perfect for our program. If you are an entrepreneur who's going to take action and you want what Promising Profits offers, then I can help you. Now, I back up everything with a guarantee, and this is for all of you to ask yourself, do you stand behind what you do? So at a minimum, I guarantee you will double your revenue after completion of the program. And if you don't, I give you back not just the money, because I took your time, I give you a check for 5 grand. Now, I know some people think that sounds a little bit crazy, but I actually know that I can help. And that's why I take the right people who I can help. So I love the saying, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. I'm going to give you the last step. If you're not a client family member and you're like, you know what, I might want some help. Let me start with my quarterly plan. We don't get on the phone and do a sales pitch. You can actually go over to this tiny URL here, which is tinyurl.com/promisingprofits. That's it. Before you even ask to have a consult with us, you actually need to read the page and watch what's on the page. You'll learn a lot. You'll get to take a lot more notes. It's more free education. And then and only then, if you think you might want to join Ken and Eileen and my other client family members, then and only then, you raise your hand. We don't come to you. So that's it for today. I hope that what I've shared has created value for you. I hope that you have gotten action steps that you're going to take. and that if it's right for you, you will join us on Promising Profits. And if it's not right for you, you'll also know that. I want to thank Ken and Eileen for playing and for all of you being here, and look in your inboxes between today and Monday, because I'm also giving you a PDF to help you. Join the Heartrepreneur Facebook group if you're not there. Much love, everyone. Bye for now. Bye now.